What's going on, guys? Chump Change XD here. Hope you're all staying healthy, having a great day. Unfortunately, as you guys know, I am going to be moving on from these GPUs. I actually got to get them all ripped out of these server cases and get them all just kind of stacked here on the table. I got, as you can see, 8 more Octominers here, X12s. These are completely full, 12 cards in each one. And yeah, I got these 3 here. So shit ton of cards I got to go through. But purpose of today's video, Bitcoin Merch sent us over some stuff to check out. And I kind of wanted to talk about like the things that I'm going to be doing coming up in the future, obviously, because I'm going to be shying away from GPU mining just because it's 100% not profitable, and I obviously do have the solar stuff, so I want to kind of explain to you guys a little bit what's going on there. So Bitcoin mining as a home miner is really, it's hard to do, right? It's insignificant when it comes to hash rate and wattage and all this stuff. Like, you need big machines to mine Bitcoin consistently, but these little lottery miners, I think personally everybody should have at least this guy right here, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But I am going to be having at least a couple mini, solo Bitcoin miners going so I could potentially hit a block, right? Somebody actually did hit a block, over 3 Bitcoin with this guy July of last year, 2024. They made over $250,000. I think it was like $300,000+ on hitting a block with this thing. So it is possible. And for whatever it is, like 20 watts or something, it's totally worth having that thing at least running. So I'm going to get that thing out in my solar trailer, kicking ass out there, right? But what I wanted to go over first is this little USB hub, right? This thing was sent over from bitcoinmerch.com. As you guys can see, this is a 7-port little hub. And this is one of the units that they offer for a bunch of these nerd miners. So we have 7 nerd miners right here. These are little USB miners, right? They're like 75 kilohashes or so. These things are, to be honest, really kind of insignificant to the network. It's very, very unlikely that you're going to hit a block with any of these. I don't care how many you stack up. It's going to be super hard to hit a block, right? But these things, again, I'm dropping them all over the place. These are $25 or something. They're super cheap, right? For a cool little unit to be able to plug in and, I guess, say you're, contributing to the Bitcoin network, and maybe you have a chance, right? You probably get struck by lightning 1,000 times before you hit it with one of these, but it is possible, right? Anything's possible. So this thing right here, I actually already hooked these up individually and got them set up. It's super easy. You just hook it up to your phone, get into the Wi-Fi network, set it up. There's a full guide on Bitcoin Merch's website, so I'll leave a link down below for that. But yeah, this is pretty neat, and I want to show you guys what this thing looks like all stacked up. So let me get this plugged in, and I'll actually show you the differences being able to use this as just a little Wi-Fi hub for these guys, or you could actually plug this thing in to the side there with a USB cable and actually double it up on your Mars lander, which is pretty cool. So let's get this thing plugged in, and I'll show you guys in a second. Okay, all plugged in to the power strip right there, and yeah, I just don't have the USB part in, but again, I'll show you guys how you can hook it up to the Mars lander in a second. Now this guy, I got them all plugged in, obviously all these little nerd miners. I love how this thing has its own individual switches. It's pretty neat. So we'll turn them on one at a time, and I'll show you. Let's turn this one on first. It's pretty cool, little screen. It says initializing at first, and then it kicks up. If I turn this thing sideways, you'll be able to see it. So it kind of goes through everything. It tells you your difficulty, like have you hit a block, core temp, all that stuff, right? It is pretty freaking neat for a little tiny miner. And yeah, they all work literally the same. Again, like I said, I set these all up previously. So this little kit, I think, is like $200. I'm going to be honest, I like it. It's neat. It's a cool gift, right? If you're going to gift somebody something, these little things individually, like I said, are like $25. Totally worth, like, I don't know, a stocking stuffer, right, for Christmas or whatever the case may be. Just someone getting into it. It's kind of a neat thing to throw inside of your laptop, right? It doesn't pull any wattage, and it's just, I mean, it's pretty simple to use, right? This guy right here, this is the BitX Gamma. This is a 1.2 terahash unit. So it's 1,000 gigahashes, which is amazing. And again, you have way better odds in this thing, and this thing's about the same amount of money as this, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like $20 more or something. Now, the Mars lander. This thing, again, cool desk piece. It's got like RGB. Turn this thing on. I don't know, it can do all different stuff, right? I usually just have it off because I don't really care for it. But it is neat, right? It's a cool little gift, but these things are extremely expensive for, let me see, ready? Let's see what the gigahashes are. I think it's like under 300. 289 gigahashes, right? So again, this thing is 1.2 terahashes. So literally 5 of these guys in that guy right there, and it's literally half the price. I think this is like $500 if I'm not mistaken. And that's like, again, like 225 or something, 250, I forget, around $200. These are the little Gecko Science USB miners, though, that you can buy individually. If I'm not mistaken, they might still sell them. I'm not sure if they do, but these guys are exactly what's inside the Mars lander. Again, they're roughly around 300 gigahashes or so. I think they advertise like 350. I'm pretty sure you can overclock them, and you can actually stick these guys inside this hub, and you can actually connect the cable that comes with it, right? It goes from that to a USB cable, and you can actually plug it in to the side of this Mars lander, and it will actually pick up the other units. Now, I did have these hooked up already to this to test it, to make sure it worked, and it does work fine. My issue was cooling it, right? The fans, I have a fan for this guy right here. Again, it comes from Bitcoin merch. This came with that, and it is so goddamn loud. I just said F it and unplugged it because it hums like crazy. So I ended up using their little, this little fan that comes with the stuff you buy, which is pretty cool. And it works, right? I can only cool one of these at a time just because that thing only has so much mobility to bend. But it is, I don't know, it ended up crashing a few times with 2 of those in, that fan on, the vibration. I don't know what it was, but this thing would freeze up and basically stop hashing. So you can put it into the side there. This is a cool hub to be able to put into the side of like your computer or something with those Gecko Science USBs if you wanted to do that. It does work here, but it's not like ideal, right? It will or it can crash on you. So anyways, this is kind of some stuff that's pretty neat, and I really do like the fact that these are little solo miners. I love the way these things look, to be honest. It is super neat, and inside the solar trailer, it's going to be awesome. So again, I kind of wanted to touch base the solar stuff, right? You guys were asking, why am I not GPU mining with solar? Like, why do I have all that solar stuff? Now, you guys need to understand that GPU mining, right? This one case, right? These are like 1660s, if I'm not mistaken. I believe these are the 1660s. Now, these guys, I think they pull like, I don't know, around 60 watts or something a piece. Realistically, this whole unit, say around 500 watts or so, maybe 600 watts when it's pushing it. I could run like a couple super efficient ASICs, right, with that, like these little KS0s or whatever, the AL0s, right, or these little gold shell box miners, like this one's the AE Box Pro that's actually making like 20 something bucks a day right now. So I can run these miners versus these GPUs that make like literally nothing. It's like negative money, right? I mean, obviously free electricity, you'd be making something, but running a big machine like this versus a bunch of little ASICs like that, that is half the reason I'm getting out of GPUs. It's just too demanding on something like a whole solar setup. And then on top of it, I can't actually really do any AI stuff with these GPUs. They're too old. Like I have a 3070 here, but it's, again, it's just not ideal for AI, right? People don't care about that. So it's, yeah, I need like 40 series cards or better, even 50 series cards to do that. So that is really why I'm not going to be GPU mining with the solar stuff. So I hope that makes sense to a lot of you guys as to why I'm not going to be running this. I would just yield so much more with these little box miners, even though like realistically they are unprofitable at certain electric rates. Free electric, they're still profitable and they'll be yielding much more than the GPUs. But over here with the whole Bitcoin mining thing, right? Again, you can't really mine Bitcoin much as a home miner anymore, right? ASICs are just out of the question for home mining. Solo mining, you have a chance, right? This is like buying a lottery ticket that you buy once and you just let it run for the life of the machine and you hope you get lucky, right? You hope you hit a block. And I like to tinker. So like this kind of scratches that itch that I need with, you know, not having GPU mining around. I have these little machines to mess around with. I could probably, actually I could take this little, I have a little PC right here. This is like, what is it, 4 cores, 8 gigabyte little machine that's literally like a little Windows computer, right? This is something they would use at like, say, a store underneath the register. Like this would run the whole POS system or whatever the hell they got, right? So I could take, theoretically, these little Bitcoin miners, actually, and stick them in here, get a little fan somehow situated in the center there, and we could make our own little Bitcoin machine, right? Obviously, I'd have to figure out the fan. That's not gonna work, but just in general, I like to tinker. So this is gonna scratch that itch that I'm gonna need scratched, obviously, because my GPUs are gonna be non-existent at some point. But anyways, I do think it's important for you guys to at least have a chance. I'm not trying to sell you something. I don't care what you do, but if you guys are going to buy any type of solo mining machine, please go for this one. It's the only one that makes sense. That's just my opinion. You guys do what you want. These are cool gifts. That's cool, but like if you have a bunch of money and you don't care about spending it, this is just too expensive for me personally, and the hash rate is just not there. That's the one you want. 1.2 terahashes. Totally worth it. I think it's an S19 chip, if I'm not mistaken, from one of the big boy ASICs. So, yeah, definitely get that one if you're going to do it at all. I'll leave a link down in the pinned comment below if you guys are interested. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great, happy, and safe rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.